Hi, George.
Hello.
Hi, Mario.
You know about Ellie's brothers, right?
Yeah. Which brother is that?
Charlie.
Was a doctor, right?
Charlie, yes.
Was he a doctor?
I think so.
Good.
Okay, we're on Chaf Aleph on the base, 21b on the bottom. Ton Rabbanan, we're dealing with the Eshes Yefas Toa, that if you went to war and you saw a pretty woman, you could take her for a wife. So Harold is here, okay? Chaf Aleph on the base, 21b on the bottom.
Yeah.
Ton Rabbanan, the Ra'isa Bashivya. You shall see a pretty woman captive, meaning B'shas Shivya. You saw her first. It can't happen afterwards. You saw her first while she was taken captive. It's not like she was taken to sell or for a shivcha, and then he found. Then he. Now, Johnny, we have Johnny.
Yes.
Why don't you tell everyone about the siyum? Johnny and Helene want to host next siyum. We have a
Right.
number of sechtos. The last siyum we did at Harold's house, I believe it was Yevamas. Right,
You're
Harold?
the guy with the memory, not me. So
It sounds familiar. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So we have a few masechtos. I think we have ksubis, and whatever masechtos we finish, and we'll divvy up. Different people will make different hadrons, but Johnny and Helene want to host it. Johnny, want to give us the details?
yeah. So the details are: it's going to be 20th Wednesday evening, 6 o'clock, at OBKLA, which is our big kitchen on Pico. I put the information on the chat, the address, and what else?
Thank you, John.
It's going to take about 3.5 hours and dress casual.
Lovely.
That's it.
Okay.
And
So,
whoever
Rabban-
can, once again, just if you can whoever can count, please RSVP so I have a head count. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. Ton Rabbanan Risa Bashivya B'Shas Shivya. Means he first has to see her first, actually, at B'Shas Milchama, not after the fact. Eishes, Afilu Eishes Ish, even if she's a married woman. Obviously, she was not Jewish. We're talking about a non-Jew. So even if she was a married woman, you could take her. Yifas Toar. Now, why do we have to know that she was pretty? Because Lo Dibra Torah Keneged Yetzirah. The Torah knows human nature, and his Yetzirah was stirred up because of how attractive she was, and it's because of that that they permitted him. But better that we permit her in this fashion than for him to take her not in a permitted fashion.
Sorry, wait, holding on top of
Kaf Aleph Amud Beis on the bottom.
bar.
Mutav Sheyachlu Yisrael. Now we're on the top of Kaf Beis. Mutav Sheyachlu Yisrael start Tmuta Shchutos. We would rather have an animal that's about to die, but you shecht it quickly before it dies. Vayachlu basar tmutas nevelas, rather than for a Jew to eat a neveh, a dead animal. So better to do it beheter, even though the Torah is not that happy about it. But what are we supposed to do? We have to fight the Yetzer Hara. V'choshakta, he desired her. Afal pishein noah, even if she's not beautiful. I mean, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It has to do with desire. It's not going to be for us. If he desired her, that's enough. It's not for us to be the judge of her beauty or not. That after you went through the process, 30 days, she has to grow her hair, you should become your wife. And you're not allowed to take two. There's no 2 for 1 here. Can't take two, one for me, achas lov, achas lavi. You know, once I'm taking one, I'll bring one for my father. Or achas lov, achas liv. No. I don't know which one is more uncomfortable. Bringing one for your father, bring one for your son. You can't force her. You have to bring her to her house. You can't live with her out in the battlefield. Im Omar Yoimar. This was if the Eved Ivri wants to stay permanently. So Ad Sheyomer V'Yishne. He has to repeat it. He has to Omar Betchila Sheish. If at the beginning of his 6-year servitude he says, "Oh, I want to stay forever." V'lo Amar B'Sof Sheish. He didn't say at the end. Eino Nirtza. We don't put a hole in his ear. Shenever lo yitzei chofshi. Ad sheyomer b'shas yitzi. You have to say it in the beginning and in the end. Amar B'Sof Sheish. Amar B'Tchila Sheish. He said at the end, not in the beginning. Eino Nirtza. Shenemar im Amor Yomar HaEved. Ad sheyomer kishu Eved. He can't say it when he's on his way out. He has to say it when he's the beginning. That's the Baraisa. Amar Man. Amar B'Tchila Sheish. Amar B'Sof Sheish. Eino Nirtza. Shneimar lo eitzei chofshi. He didn't say it at the end. Now, my area milo eitzei chofshi. Why are you learning it out from that? Typically, the beinon ahavti esadoni es ishtiv es banai. The Torah says he's going to say, "I like my master, my wife, my children." This is the wife that his master gave him during his 6 years of avavdos. So you have to say it at the end because you wouldn't have had an Isha and Bani in the beginning. Visu, another problem. Amr b'sof sheish, he said it at the end. V'lo amr b'tchila sheish eino nirtza. And the Baraisa said because it says ha'eved. Well, I understand. He's still an eved at the end. Atu b'sof sheish lav evedu. Amarava my betchila sheish means it's not the beginning of the 6 years. The beginning of the prutas achrona. He's coming to the end of his servitude, where he's going to earn the last pruta. He's still an evet. And what's besof sheish? Besof pruta achrona. So it's not all the way in the beginning. They're all at the end. Torah. Lo isha ubanim, ularabo ein isha ubanim. If he has children, but his master does not have children, meaning the master gave him a shivcha, and he had children from the shivcha, but the master himself doesn't have a wife or children, then he doesn't fit the criteria. Eino nirtza. Shenemar ki ahevcha ve'et beitecha. The Eved says, "I like you and I like your family." So he doesn't have a family; he cannot recite that. L'rabo isha ubanim v'lo ein isha ubanim. The master has wives and children, but he doesn't. Eino nirtza. Shenemar ohavti es adoni es ishti ves bonai. He doesn't have it. Who oheves rabo v'rabo eno halavo. He likes the master, but the master doesn't like him. Shneimar ki tov lo imach. Rabo oavo, his master likes him. V'eno oheves rabo eno nirtza. Shneimar ki ahevcha. You have to like him. Hu chola v'rabo eina chola. He's sick and his master is not. Eino nirtza shenemar ki tov lo imach. It's not good with him. Rabo chola v'hu eina chola. The master is sick. He's not sick. Eino nirtza shenemar imach. You both have to be the same. V'or Rabbi Rabbiya. Shneim cholim mai. What if they're both sick? Imach ba'ina, they're equal v'ha'ika. Oy dilma ki tov lo imach ba'ina v'aleka. It's not good for them. Teku. Torah Rabbana ki tov lo imach. Im chabamay. He has to eat like you eat. Im chabamishte. He has to drink like you drink. You can't give him inferior food or inferior wine. Shalotei ata oichel pas nekiv oichel pas keeper. He eats fine white bread, and you eat, and he eats pumpernickel. Ata shosayan yashin v'shosayan chadash. You drink aged wine, he drinks new wine. Ata yoshel gabi moichin v'u yoshel gabi tevet. He sleeps on a soft mattress, and he sleeps on straw. Kanamru kol hakoyin eved ivri kakoyin adon la'atzmo. If you acquire an eved ivri, it's like you acquired a master for yourself. Ton Rabbana. V'yatsa me'imachu v'navimo. He goes out with his children. Amrav Shimon. Imhu nimkar banav uvnosav minim kari. So let's say he had children before he was sold. He's only sold. His children aren't sold. But the master, if he's an eved, the master is required to provide food for his children. I mean, a wife doesn't get sold with the guy. When a master acquires an eved ivri, he has to provide the mizonos for his wife, the eved's wife. Utzricha. If you would have told me children, fine. I wouldn't have learned wife from that because children can't fend for themselves. His wife can go out and work. Maybe let her go and work and eat. So we say no. She has to be fed by the master. A wife doesn't go knocking on doors asking for charity. But maybe a master doesn't have to provide for banav because they can go knocking on doors. Tzricha. Ilu nemar ozno badelet. Near his ear, you make a hole in the wall. Delis in oznolo, but not in his ear. It's very clear. You got to make a hole in his ear. Ella, you have nothing to do with the door. You make a hole, and then yanichen ala delis. V'yidkor keneged ozno badelis. It's like you did it near. Talmud Lama, no. You have to put his ear next to the door, and you have to make the hole so you go from his ear to the doorpost. Deles shemani bein akura bein shein akura. Maybe it could be a bent wall. Talmud Lama mezuzah. Ma mezuzah me'umid, it's upright. Aftelas nami me'umid. Rav Yechon ben Zakkai hayador shesamikra zeh kimin choymer. Ma nishtana oiz mikol v'yishbuk. Why is the ear different than all the other limbs? Amar Kadosh Baruch oizen sheshama koili al har Sinai. The ear that heard my voice. V'shah shamarti ki li bnei Yisrael avadim. V'lo avadim lavadim. They're supposed to be my servants, not servants to other people. He found himself a master. He puts a hole in his ear. Why is a door and a door frame different than all other things in the house? The door and the mezuzah were witnesses when I passed over everybody's house in Mitzrayim. The Amarti Kilib Nesr Avadim. The law avodim lavadim. I took Bnei Israel out from Avdus Lacheres. They should stand witness what this guy is doing. Mishnah. Eved Knani Nikne Bekesef Shtar B'Chazaka. You acquire an Eved Knani with money, with a star, with Chazaka. The Gemara will explain what Chazaka is. He goes free. Other people give his master money, but not him, because whatever he owns, his master owns. So he doesn't have independent money. But ubishtar ayde atzmo. He can deal with the star shichur dirame. Chachamim bekesef ayde atzmo. Kesef has to be done. It can be done by him. Ubishtar ayde acherim. Uvavachi hakesef mishalchem. The money has to not belong to him. Minola. Tichsiv yistachaltem osam livnechem archechem lareshes achusa. An Eved, Knani, is compared to a piece of land. How do you acquire land? Chazaka is land improvements. Like you build a fence around the piece of property. That's chazaka, you took hold of it. When you sell an ancestral field, you get it back. Maybe an Eved Knani goes back to his original owners. No. He stays forever. Kinyan Chalipin works to acquire an Eved. Kinyan Chalipin is a fictional Kinyan. Like when the rabbi picks up your handkerchief when he sells your chametz. Vitana didon milsa delesa b'metatlin ktani. Our Tana didn't mention Chalipin because only things that are not involved in Kinyan metaltalin did he list. Milsa delesa b'metatlin loy ktani, and Chalipin can be used for either, for karka or for metaltalin. Armar Shmuel Eved Knani nikne b'meshicha. You can pull just like you pull an animal, and you acquire an animal with Meshicha, and Eved Knani is nicknamed with Meshicha. Ketza. Tokfo. You grab onto him, you buy it slow, and he comes to him. Kono. If you call him, Karo Ubai Tzolokno, that's not a king. Bishma Tani Didon. I understand our Tana didn't list Meshicha because Milsa Disibim Like Tani. Things that are kinyonim by metatlim, like Meshicha, they didn't write it. Those kinyonim, the less of a metatli, that are not with metatlim, only karka ketani. El Tani brought the other Tana who's listing everything, this name Meshicha. Kiktani milsadisa beim makarki beim metatlim. The one who mentioned Chalipin mentioned it because it works both for metatlim and karka. Meshicha. The metatala isab and makarka less a loktan. Meshicha doesn't work. By karka, it's not mentioned. So, Ketsa, how does chazaka work? Tokfo by etzlok, no. If you grabbed him and he came to you, you acquire. Karo. If you call to him and he comes, by etzlok, no. For example, krolo, why not? Vatanya, Ketsa b'mesira. What is Kinyan Mesira? Achza betalfa. You held on to its hoof, or besaro, its hair. We're talking about an animal. Or be'okav shaleh, or its saddle. Or be'shlif shaleh, the burden that's on the animal. Or be'prumbria, the bit in the mouth. or bezuk shebetzor, or it bell on its neck. Kana. Ketzah b'mashicha. Karel hiba. If you call to the animal that comes, Oshi kisha b'makel v'rasa, or you hit it with a stick and it ran in front of him, lefanav. Kivin sha'akra yad v'regel. The moment it picked up hand and a foot, kana. Ravasi v'ami la ravacha. It's got to walk in front of the new owner its full height. Not just enough yad v'regel. Well, you see Behemoth's nickname of Mashiach with Kriya. Why can't the Eved be acquired calling him? So Amri, we say there's a difference. Behemoth daita demora azla. Behemoth has no independent thought. He goes where his master tells him to go. So by calling and he comes, that'll work. Eved adaita denafshe kozla. Eved is a human being, has an independent mind. So he's not acquired because you did something to him. And the master in this case didn't do a Maisa Kinyan. But on Ravashi Eved Cotton Kebei Madami. If you acquire a minor Eved, then he doesn't have Das. So he could be nicknamed Bikri. If you called him and he comes to you, that's another method of acquisition. Tanarabanan, Ketzad Bechazaka. How does Chazaka work? Imhitir lo espenalo. The Eved did some service for the master. He untied his shoe. The Eved carries the master's clothes to the bathhouse. If Shito Hirchitzo Osacho. The Eved removed the clothes.
What is this?
Oh,
Please, everybody mute.
listen. I'm teaching Daf Yomi now. I'll have to call you when I'm finished. I'll call you back, okay?
Okay.
If Shito Yerchitzo Sacho, you took off his clothes in the bathhouse and washed him and anointed him with oil. Gardo is like in the Roman bathhouses, they used to have some kind of scraper. They scraped off the, excess skin. Hilbisho, you helped him get dressed. Hinilo, put on shoes. Higbio, or you picked him up. The Eved picked the master. No. And no greater chazaka is when the Eved lifted the master. Now, my comment, what did Reb Shimon say? Sounds like he's arguing. On Ravashi, imigbiu rabo kano. Ravashi means, the sugya means, the Eved has to pick up the master, then there's a king. Because the chazaka is when the Eved does a malacha for the master. But if the master picked up the Eved, lo kano. Because the Eved didn't do an avodah for him. On that, on Rav Shimon, lote chazaka gdola, chazaka shouldn't be bigger than Agbosh. So he argues with the Tanakh and says, if the master picks up the Eved, you also acquired it. Hashta the Amris, higbiu l'rabo kno. That if the Eved picks up the master, he's coin to the Odin is coin to him. If you have relations with a Shivcha Knanis, the master should acquire her with Bia. In a way, she's lifting him during the act of Bia. Yeah, but that's not a malacha that you can define as an Eved doing on behalf of the master. Why? Ki kamrinon shezen nene v'zeh mitztayer. The master-slave relationship, the master benefits, and it's painful for the Eved. But by Bia, zeh nene v'zeh nene. They both have pleasure. So that's not a normal act of servitude. So the Gemara asks, what about Shalok Kedarka, Michael? What about anal intercourse? Bia Shalok Kedarka. There, the Gemara's Havamina is a woman is not going to enjoy that. So that'll be pleasure for him and pain for her. Amr Avachya de Minacha. Man lemalon de lava no islular travayu. Who told you that Bishalokadaka that she's not getting pleasure? There is pleasure for both of them. V'od, another kasha, mishkavei isha ksiv. When the Torah talks about relations, it uses a plural word, mishkavei, to teach me that whether you have bia kedarka or bia shalokadarka with a woman that's prohibited to you, you're killed. Bia is bia, whether you penetrate vaginally or you penetrate anally. The kisha kosov is kedarka shalokadarka for every union. And that's the halach. Rav Yehuda Handu'u, Rav Yehuda Hinduah. Rav Yehuda was from India. Now, just a grammatic thing here. When we are davening in the morning, we say, Hodu Lashem ki tov ki lo olam chasdo. Like in all Hebrew, most words, the emphasis is on the last syllable. Hodu. Now, the word India is what? Hodu. The pronunciation is on the first syllable. Hodu. Similarly, turkeys, we say Hodu, not Hodu. Because they thought that turkeys, when they landed in the West Indies, they thought it was India, and that's originally where they found turkeys in the North America. They thought it was India. Okay. Now, so why do we say Hodu when we talk about India? Because really, there's a missing letter. It should be Hondu with a nun, like here, Hinduah, because the word Hodu comes from India with a nun, Hondu. So here he's called Rav Yehuda Hinduah, Yer Shein Lo Yordi. And he came from India, wasn't Jewish, converted and was a Jew. Cholash, he was sick. Al Marzutra l'shayulabeit. Marzutra came to visit. Chazir to Tokaf le'al matuva. He saw the guy was dying, about to die. Amr Avdi, he told Rav Yehuda had a servant. Shlofli Masanai. He asked the servant to take off his shoes. Vaptinu lebes and carry him home. Because he wanted that Evet to do an act of chazakah for him. Because the first person when a ger dies, he doesn't have any relatives. So whoever grabs first acquires the nechasim of the ger. So Marzutra wanted to acquire the Evet through this act of chazak. Ikidi Amri Godolav. Some say he was an adult. And the Gemara will explain what it means by that tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow, we're going to learn at 6:20.